In 1879, the father of modern drama, Henrik Ibsen, a Norwegian playwright, wrote what some people consider to be the first modern play called A Doll's House, which featured a young wife named Nora Hemler with 3 children, who at one day simply walked out the door on her husband, slammed the door, and disappeared. That slam of that door was called, at the time, the shot heard round the world. This play became this controversial piece in Europe where people actually were invited to dinner parties and invited not to talk about the play. Some people thought it was the first testimony or the first example of women's liberation, of feminism, and other people thought it was an attack on family values and traditional morality. The question being, does a woman have a right, and what level of responsibility is involved for her to walk out the door on her husband and 3 children, shut the door, and seek her own life? Now, jump hundreds of years later to about 5 years ago, a young playwright named Lucas Nath decided he was going to write a sequel to A Doll's House. So he wrote A Doll's House Part 2, set 15 years after Nora walked out the door. There's a knock on the door, and Nora comes back to the house that she abandoned, to the maid that she left who raised her, to her husband who she abandoned, to her daughter who she abandoned, seeking their help. And they look at her and go, "Are you crazy? You walked out on us." And so begins this encounter between Nora Hemler, who probably is one of the most unique and extraordinary characters in drama, female characters, and her traditional family. And this is absolutely a character-driven comedy, and that the wants of the characters run into obstacles. And it's very funny, and it's ultimately also very moving. It's like life. It's funny, it's surprising, it's tantalizing, and it's shocking a bit at times, and it's very, very moving.